Donald Trump just dropped a $20 billion surprise rescue for Argentina, and global markets are reeling. Is this a bold power play, a gamble on lithium, or a geopolitical chess move in the US-China duel? Tonight, we break down how Milei's Peso collapse, depleted reserves, and IMF panic set the stage, and why Washington is staking everything on this risky bet. First, let's set the stage. Argentina is on the brink. The peso is free-falling. Argentina is burning through its foreign exchange reserves just to prop up the currency. Inflation is surging. Monthly inflation rates now cross 5% a month. Debt obligations loom large. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) is sounding default alarms. Politically, the ruling party just lost major elections. Confidence is crumbling. Milei's shock therapy reforms, slashing state spending, reducing subsidies, were supposed to stabilize the economy. But the backlash has been brutal, especially in poor and vulnerable sectors. Now enters Trump, proposing what's been widely reported as a $20 billion bailout for Argentina. But the details matter. Here's how Washington is structuring it. A currency swap, credit line to bolster Argentina's central bank and help defend the peso. Potential U.S. purchases of Argentine bonds, possibly in secondary markets. Talks of profit-sharing deals, meaning U.S. exposure could link to Argentina's productive sectors. So, why? A few motives. 1. Strategic leverage. Argentina sits atop vast lithium reserves, agricultural exports, and critical minerals. U.S. backing could buy influence over those sectors. 2. Geopolitics. Washington wants to counter China and BRICS influence in Latin America. 3. Ideological ally. Milei is a Trump favorite, steeped in libertarian reform rhetoric. Supporting him sends a message. Deregulation and small government are U.S. models exported abroad. 4. Electoral and political optics. Backing Milei ahead of Argentina's October elections reinforces Trump's global brand and messaging. But the plan is deeply controversial, even within U.S. politics. Once this bailout was floated, the backlash was immediate, especially from U.S. farmers. Argentine soy exports to China ramped after Argentina cut export taxes, displacing U.S. agricultural supply. Many U.S. senators, especially from farm states, accused Trump of siding with foreign farmers over domestic ones. Republicans in the America First camp balk at sending huge sums overseas, particularly while U.S. programs at home are under strain. Markets, too, wobbled. Argentine bond yields and risk spreads surged as details remained murky.
The U.S. is not directly investing money into Argentina.
In short, the bailout is less rescue, more bet, and many are unsure on which side it lands. Let's talk risks, and what Washington might actually gain. Moral hazard and dependency. Argentina could rely on U.S. support instead of structural reforms. Sovereignty concerns? Accepting a bailout could force Argentina to cede control over key sectors or policies. Backlash at home. U.S. taxpayer resentment could be severe, especially if little tangible return is visible. Default risk. If Argentina still defaults, the bailout becomes a giant loss. Escalating tension with China. BRICS. Beijing already has swap lines and investments in Argentina. This bailout could provoke countermeasures. Strategic gains in lithium, minerals, energy projects, agriculture, sectors essential to 21st century supply chains. Diplomatic influence in Latin America, especially over a nation that's often swung between left and right. Geopolitical narrative, asserting that U.S. can outbid China in influence, shaping the hemisphere's alignment. Soft power message, promoting free markets, deregulation, and limiting state intervention. If it succeeds, it becomes a proof point. Ultimately, this is less an economic bailout and more a geopolitical gamble. So, did Trump just torch 2/3 of America's stabilization fund to bail out a faltering Latin nation? That may be rhetorical, but make no mistake, This is a gamble of immense scale and symbolism. If Argentina stabilizes under U.S. terms, Washington wins leverage, influence, and bragging rights in the U.S.-China battle. If it fails, the bailout becomes an anchor, dragging both economies down, sharpening domestic backlash, and reigniting the cycle of foreign bailouts and structural failures. What do you think will happen? Will Argentina stabilize with U.S. backing, or crumble under yet another foreign rescue? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit like, and subscribe for deep dives into global power plays.